In this video, I'm going to build from scratch the exact voice agent that we've been working on in parts 1 to 5 in this series. Start to finish, no shortcuts. By the end of this video, you will have a fully functional voice agent that can answer calls, collect names, email, reason, and get availability. It will also book a meeting through cal.com using Google Meet, which is awesome. I've also uploaded resources, the JSON workflow and the prompt template, to the resources section of my website, dynaflow.ai. So you can download those, follow along, and build this agent quickly and easily. This is the complete package, a powerful, production-ready voice agent that you can use right away for your agency, for your business, or even for your customers. Awesome. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call the agent right now so you guys can hear what she sounds like, the questions she asks, the questions she collects, and how she delivers the information back to you, the user. Essentially, I just want to show you a demo of the agent. My agent's her name is Amy.
Hi there. Thanks for calling Dynaflow. We specialize in building AI voice agents to help small businesses automate calls, bookings, and customer support. Would you like to learn more about our services, or are you looking to book an appointment today?
I'd like to book an appointment, please.
Perfect. I can help with that. First, can I have your full name?
My name is Mike Armstrong.
Thanks, Mike. What's the best email for your booking?
And
what's the main reason for your appointment?
I'd like to discuss voice agents for my e-commerce company.
Thanks, Mike. Let me check our calendar for available times over the next few days. Here are a few options for your appointment, all in Eastern Time. Friday at 7:30 a.m., Friday at 10:45 a.m., Monday at 8 a.m. Which of these works best for you?
Monday, 8 a.m.
You're all set, Mike. Your appointment is booked for Monday at 8 a.m. Eastern. I have your name as Mike Armstrong and your email AI. Thanks again for choosing Dynaflow. Talk soon.
Thank you. All right, great. So that got booked, and you can see the meetings get booked on the calendar. Let's take a look at a meeting here. So this is a meeting. This isn't the specific one that I booked, but this is what it looks like. 45-minute meeting between Mike Armstrong and Terry Jones. This is actually another execution. You get the Google Meet and then what the meeting's about. So it'll tell you that. And the time zone, organizer, email, phone number. So yeah, you get all the information. This all comes from cal.com. All right, so hope you enjoyed that. Thank you. Welcome to my next camera angle. All right, so the first thing we want to do is go to my website, which is dynaflow.ai. And on my website, you can access the resources by clicking on the sign in the top right here. I'm actually already signed in, so let me sign out. So yeah, dynaflow.ai, click sign in, and then it'll say authentication required. Click allow, and you should be able to log in via the authenticator, I think through Google, Microsoft, and Apple. And that should take you to the resources section. And what you want to, okay, so there's two versions of the resources, Word and PDF, depending on which you prefer. So I'm going to download the PDF, click download, and then you click the folder you want to save it to. And then I'm going to click you also want to click the n8n workflow calendar booking document, which is a JSON file. So just click download and then put that into a folder of your choice. That's it. You just need to download those two documents. All right, good. Next, you want to go to Retell AI. Retell AI is it's going to be the voice orchestration platform that we use to create this agent. So I guess for starting from the very beginning, you want to go to Retell AI, and then so then you want to join, log in, and this is actually going to just automatically log me in to my workspace. So with Retell AI, I'm going to skip this, but you want to sign up for an account with Retell. And then once you've done that, you go into its dashboard.retellai.com and then go into the agent section. And then we're going to click voice agent. So we're going to click a voice agent. And then I think it can be start from blank. So click create. And then we want to name this. I'm going to call this, you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call this Dynaflow agent for YT demo. All right, good. So this is the agent creation section, let's call it. And this is where we need to put what's called our prompt. You could also call it an engineering prompt. And a prompt is essentially a text-based script that is going to instruct the agent, which is in our case, Retell AI, what to do, how to do it, and a step-by-step orchestration or sequence in how to do certain things and events. Now, prompting your agent is a whole science and art form, and I'll probably make another video on prompt engineering because there's actually protocols and standard procedures that you should follow when you are making a prompt. But again, to make this things easier for you, I've created the prompt already and we've downloaded it. So we go into the folder that we downloaded to. In my case, it's going to be temp. And then, let's open up the PDF version. I don't actually have Microsoft Word anymore. So this will take you into the PDF version of the prompt. So you can see here, it says prompt. And then we have these hash marks are called the markdown. And you want to make sure that your prompt is properly formatted with something called Markdown, which again is proper prompt engineering is a little bit beyond the scope of this video, which is why I've created the prompt for you. But what you can do is just copy all of this. Let's see if I can do this from my PDF file. So you want to go all the way down to here. All right, so I'm actually going to just grab the Word version and I'm just going to paste it in here. So this is the prompt. You don't want this JSON. This is another part of the voice agent. You just want the prompt itself. All right, so the prompt here, we'll go through this quickly, but you've got identity, style, context, response guidelines, email, collection rules, time slot rules, number, task, and goals, and examples down at the bottom. So this is a pretty comprehensive prompt. Again, you can download it from my resources and just paste it in here. And then the next thing that you want to do is click AI speaks first, and let's change this to dynamic message at the bottom. Okay, so that's it for the prompt. Is already set up. You can read through this if you want. We'll go through it quickly. Identity, your AMI, the primary AI agent for Dynaflow. Now Dynaflow is my agency, dynaflow.ai. So you can actually change this prompt for your agency or your company. You can change this prompt as, you might want to change the identity section or anywhere it says Dynaflow, but you can go in and sort of edit and customize this as you want. Then style, you're friendly and professional. Context, these are markdown headers, what we call them. Context, now you want to add the current time wherever you are, and I'm converting the time to EST. This is happening in the prompt because Dynaflow, we're an agency that sells agents mainly into the US for now. Response guidelines, but you can change this time zone to whatever time zone you're in or whatever time zone you want to convert to. Response guidelines, this is a strict rule. The agent must always collect the name, email, and reason in that order. This is important for the agent in terms of the sequence. Email collection rules, always confirm the email character by character. Now, this specific agent is actually going to get the user's email. There is some debate around the best practices to do this, but I think just for the practice of ease of just to really get this done, we're just going to get the agent to try and collect the email from the user. It's a really powerful thing if you can actually get the email. There are other ways to do it. In this video, we're going to do it this way. So the agent has got to confirm back the email letter by letter just to make sure that the email gets collected by the agent correctly. And then time slot rules, present time slots in a conversational format. So Monday at 12, Tuesday at 4. So this will be easier for the user. Tasks and goals, we'll skip this and then we'll skip the steps. There's some error handling instructions in here. Call closing, this is some instructions around the closing of the call, and then some examples of how the call might go to give the agent better context. It's always good to add some examples in your prompt to give the agent better context. All right, so we could actually click save on that, and there we go. It's been saved. The next thing we want to do is let's create our functions. So go into the top right into the functions section and click add. And we are going to add a check. It's actually a built-in function called check calendar availability. And this function actually, I wonder if I move my camera here, if that's better for you. Yeah, That's better, right? Yeah. Can you see me? So this is a checkcalendaravailability.com function, and you want to click on that. And then, so we're going to call this free underscore times. And then the description can be, I'm going off screen when I'm looking up here because I'm looking at my template here. So just bear with me. So you can type in here, when ready to check for availability, all info gathered. And it's relatively important that you try and copy some of this stuff exactly as it is written in the prompt and in the descriptions of the function tools, just so the agent understands what it's doing correctly. By the way, I probably should have explained this in a bit more detail, but this is what's called a function in Retell AI. And this is kind of a tool that allows you to access other services outside of the agent. It's a very powerful thing called tools or functions. And we use them a lot in agents to gather information and to gather what we call dynamic data. Now, next thing we need to do is add the API key. And so the way you can do that, now we're going to go into cal.com. So we need to get and set up an API key in cal.com. So you go to cal.com and go to app. Now, this is probably just going to take me into my events, but you need to set up an account in cal.com. You can do that through your Google account, your Microsoft account. I'm going to skip that part of the process, but yeah, you need to set up a cal.com account. Once you've done that, go into settings and then go into API keys. And so we're going to set up a new API key here in the settings. So this is, for your reference, it's api.cal/settings/developer/API-keys. But yeah, you want to go into the API keys section of cal.com, and then in the API keys section here, click add, and then you name it. We'll call this Dynaflow Agent for T demo. I'm going to get this to expire after 30 days. You could set it for 1 year, or if there's a never expire, there's a never expire thing here, but I'm going to set mine for 30 days because this is a demo, and I'm going to probably delete this after this video, and then click save. Now this is your API key created. So you never want to actually show your API key number or a public key. This is a private key for security. So you don't want to share this. This is a demo video. So I'm going to delete this after, but yeah, just FYI, you don't want to be sharing these keys into Retell AI, and you put the API key in this section of the function. So now we're back into Retell AI in the function setup. We're setting up our first function, and we are adding the API key in this section here. The next thing you want to do is add your event ID. So to do that, go back into cal.com. You could go into, go back. So you want to go into app.cal.com/event-types. And then you want to go into events, and then you want to create new. You want to create a new event in cal.com. And so we're going to call this event, let's call 45-minute T demo. And then you're going to get a URL, which you'll need. I think that's fine in terms of the description. Let me just check here. So, all right. Yeah. So click continue. So now you've got your event set up, and what we need is the URL actually, we don't need that quite yet. We will need that later. What you need is the event number or the event ID. Now, this is a little bit strange, and you're not going to be able to see this on my screen, but the event ID is the number up in the URL where it says https:// and then there's app.cal.com event types, and then there's a 6-digit number after that. That is your event type. It's actually in the URL section of your browser. If you have any questions, ask me about this in the comments section, because you're not going to be able to see this on my screen. So you get that event type, go back into Retell AI, and then you paste the event in the event type ID. So this is the 6-digit number. Again, this is going to be in the URL of the event of cal.com. All right, great. So then we're going to you want to change the time zone to whatever time zone you want to get the meetings booked into. So I'm actually based in Asia, but I want my meetings to be booked in Eastern Daylight Time, EDT right now, which is East Coast time, which is America new_York, and then click save. I think that's all good to go. And so that's it. That's your first function created. We've created a free time function. Now, what this function is going to do is in the prompt, it's going to ask the user. Well, actually, once the user says on the phone, once the user says, I want to book a meeting, then the prompt will activate this free time function. And then this function, which is a service, will access cal.com, and cal.com will access the API to get 3 availability per the prompt. 3 availability will be gathered through this function, and then the availability will be sent back to the agent to be reiterated to the user. And this is actually all kind of happening in the background. You don't need to worry about the cal.com API functionality. That's all happening in the background, but that's what the free times function is for. Okay, next we're going to make another function. This is going to be the cal book meeting function. So just click add in the function section, and this is going to be a custom function. And so create custom function, and we'll call this cal book meeting, cal_book meeting. And then the description will be use this tool to book a meeting with the selected time slot. So use this tool to book a meeting with the elected time slot. All right, now the next one is the API endpoint, and we get that from, again, you go back into your cal.com event type, and I've called it 45-minute YT demo, and then the URL, let me just make sure that's right. No, my bad. So this is actually going to come from your n8n HTTP post node, the endpoint from the first node in n8n. So leave that blank for now. Timeout, you can leave headers, you can leave new key value pair, query parameters, you can leave. Now in the parameters optional section, you want to click on JSON, and then the JSON you're actually going to get from the document that you've downloaded from my website. So again, you go back to the resources, and you want to download either the Word or the PDF, and then that JSON, let's open it up for you here. It's going to be one of these documents. I wonder if I can do this from Word. I don't have a Microsoft account, so all of my Word documents have been sort of locked from an edit perspective. But you want to go down in the document. This is the Dynaflow Agent 4 prompt document. And then at the bottom, there is the cal book meeting section. And so this is JSON. You want to grab all this JSON and just click copy. Yeah, go back into Retell. And then in the parameters, so this is in the custom function that we're creating, which is called cal book meeting. Go into the JSON section, and all right, so I'm going to grab it from the Google Docs section off screen here, but you can grab it from the document that I uploaded, which looks like this. This is JSON. So if you're not able to copy and paste this from the PDF or the Word document in my resources section, just let me know. Just DM me on where can you DM me? You can DM me, I guess, just send me a message on YouTube or in the comments section. I don't know if I can add this in the comments section. You can send me an email to mike@dynaflow.ai. That's probably the best way to connect with me. So this is the JSON, and this JSON is going to send as a payload to n8n. It's going to send the user's name, availability, and email. So you've got here this is the availability format in the description. The name is a string, full name, and then the email is a string. This is the caller email. All right. And then click save. What does that say? Oh, empty URL. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into, I guess we could just put in a fake URL for now and then come back and change it. Let's try that. So in the endpoint section, what happens if we just click test? Nope. Okay, so we're going to go into n8n now. Now we're into n8n. Now, if this is your first time in n8n, n8n is a backend workflow section, and it's going to handle the backend workflow of our agent. So basically, n8n is going to communicate with cal.com, the API that's going to communicate back to Retell AI, and then Retell AI is going to send some data, specifically the name, the availability, and the email into your n8n workflow, and then that's going to get sent back. That's going to actually, through the workflow, that's going to check the calendar, the cal.com calendar, and then the specific date that gets selected is going to get sent back to the agent via respond to Webhook. But we're going to build that out. But anyway, if it's your first time to use n8n, you need to sign up for an account. I think it's a free service if you're just using this for yourself or for demo purposes. And this video is a little bit, that's setting up an n8n account is beyond the scope of this video. So set up your account, go into your personal workflow section and click on create workflow. Now, when you're in the workflow section, you want to click import from file, and then you go to the folder where you downloaded from my website resources section, and you click on the JSON file. It's a .json file. This one is called dynaflow-n8n-workflow.json, and you just click on that, and then that should open up the workflow for you. So to save you time, we're gonna load, I guess let's call it a template. And then in the first module, which is your Cal booking meeting module, go to production URL. That's really important. There's two URL sections in the first node, this is an HTTP node. It's called an HTTP post node. That's the type of HTTP request, which is what this is. And go to production URL and you copy that. This is the URL that you want, and you go back into Retell AI and you paste that into the API endpoint section right here. Okay. So again, when we're building out this function, I'll save this. We should be able to save this now. So this is the second function that we're building. It's the Cal book meeting book. Yeah, let's call it the Cal book meeting function. You want to name it, you give it a description, and then you want to add an AI API endpoint, and then you get that from the first module in n8n, which is the Cal book meeting, which is, sorry for all the words, this is an HTTP post request. And you can change all that here in the path. I'm going to leave this as is for now, but you can actually, let's do that. For simplicity's sake, let's change this to flow-agent 4 demo, and then make sure it's production. So I've changed the name of the post URL in the path section. So first of all, you want the HTTP method to be post, and then you can change this path to whatever you want. I've changed it to this. Leave authentication as none, and respond, leave it as using respond to webhook node. So actually, technically, you don't need to do anything. Just make sure you're grabbing the production URL and pasting that specific URL into this API endpoint post section of your custom function in Retell AI. That's a bit of a mouthful. And then again, you want to paste the JSON payload in the JSON section and click update. And then that's it. Now you've created two functions in Retell, and also those are the most important and the necessary functions for this agent to work. However, we are going to add one more function, and that is the end call function. So simply in the function section, click on add, and there's a pre-made function for this. It's the end call function, and you can leave this as is, n_call. I think you can leave the description blank and just click save. And that's actually written in the prompt here. Should be, I think it's before examples. Where is it here? Call closing, which is the last markdown section. Then use end call function when appropriate. Yeah, so that's good. Now, also what we need to do is make sure that our settings are correct in the agent, in the Retell agent. So you can see in this first section, we are using the GPT 4.1 LLM, which should be fine. I think it should be fine. You can see the costs of each LLM. There's different types of LLMs as well. For this video, we're using the OpenAI LLMs, and you want to make sure when you're changing stuff in the agent that you save it. We haven't done that. Now, for if you click on this gear sign in the LLM section, this top left, you'll see LLM temperature. I'm just going to leave that down to the left. I think that's kind of, well, it says here, the far left, I guess you get better function call results, and we are calling functions, so we want that all the way to the left. Structured output, leave that unchecked. You don't need to do anything there. Now, in regard to the actual voice that we're using for the agent, you can drop down here and you can see there's different types of voices. There's 11 Labs voices, there's OpenAI voices, and there's Cartesia voices. I actually like the default voice that's set, which is CIMO, C-I-M-O. It's a woman voice. It's a female voice. I really like it. We're going to demo this agent. I've also demoed it in other videos in part 1 to 4. You can hear a demo of the agent, but I like her voice. It's great. And you want to leave this at the top, auto 11 Labs Turbo V2, English only, fast, high quality. So you want, I think for For most agents in Retell, you want the 11 Labs Turbo V2. There's other voices and other functionality. I think, like, for example, 11 Labs Turbo V2.5 is multilingual. So if you're building a multilingual agent, that's good. We'll probably do that in other episodes in the future. But yeah, you can leave all these defaults as is. So you don't need to do anything there. And then for language, this agent's going to be in English. So I just leave that in English. So actually the defaults are good to go. And that actually should be good to go. I don't think we need to do much else in our agent. In this specific agent, there's a lot of other settings you can adjust here. There's a knowledge base, there's speech settings, but I just leave all this stuff as is, as the default, and that should be good to go. All right. So next we are going to go into n8n. So we've already basically set up we're back into n8n now, into our workflow, and you can name this workflow. I'm just going to call this test for demo. And so we're going to go into the second module because we have to set up all these modules. This is the set booking data module in n8n. What this does is take the payload and it manages it, and will output it in a more manageable way. So the next node can take that data and essentially check the cal.com API. It's not necessary, but it's a great, nice way to manage your data. It's you're setting booking data from the initial payload that's coming in from the HTTP request that we've already set up. You actually don't need to do, let's go through this. So you're going to need to, you can leave all of this as is. You're going to need to change the event type number, and that is going to be the event number from your, excuse me, this is a little bit wordy, but it's the cal.com event type ID, which again is in the URL of the event. So we set up an event in cal.com 45-minute YT demo, and then the actual 6-digit number is in the URL of the web browser. So you're going to have to actually drop that into the event type. So that's that number there. This is static information. You can change this name from Mike Armstrong, that's me, to your name if you want. This is, you leave as is, and then guests, leave that value blank. Location is the type is a string. And again, you don't need to know exactly what this is, but you just need to know which ones to change, which sections to change, and which sections not to change. But for all intents and purposes, you can just leave this as is, as the template has set it, unless you want to change your time zone. But I'd leave that as the time zone that we set up in your function in Retell AI. And then you want this. So really the only thing you need to change is the event ID here. All right, so that's good to go. And we're going to leave that as set booking data. The next thing we need to do is set up the create booking HTTP node. So again, this is going to be set up for you through the template that you've downloaded. And so this is, we'll go through this, but this is an HTTP request. It's a post request. The URL that it's accessing is the cal.com API, and the cal.com API has a specific URL, and this is the URL. You can actually go into cal.com and go into the API document section to grab this URL. I've talked about this in previous episodes, and I think it's part 3 or 4. I'm not going to go into that right now, but this is the specific URL that you need to reference in this HTTP. Authentication is set as generic credential type. Header type is header auth. And then you actually need to set your agent as well here. So yeah, so this, if you go into here, this is going to be the API that you get from cal.com. In the cal.com API section, this is where you want to put your API. When we went into the API section of cal.com, go into settings, go into API keys. Remember, we created that key. We created I think it's this one. Oh, I deleted it. Whoops. Anyway, I guess we'll create another one because I shouldn't have done that. Dynaflow test. So we're creating a new, again, you can set it as never expires if you're going to be using this over and over again. I'm going to probably delete this later, but click save on that. Grab the API key here, and you want to post that in or copy that into the value section of this, and then click save. Now you also need to, I think I've also, yeah, you also need to add this API key into the free times function in Retell AI here. It's the same API key. Yeah. So that also goes into the HTTP mode here. That is saved. No thanks. So yeah. So make sure you update that in the header auth section of this HTTP node, and then leave send query parameters unchecked, leave send headers checked, specify headers using fields below. You want the name to be cal-API version, and then value this number here. It's actually date. Again, this comes from the cal.com API documentation. In the name section, you want it to be content-type, and in the value, the value of this is going to be application /JSON. And then all the way down to the bottom, send body, you want that click green to the right, body content type JSON, specify body using JSON, and then you want this JSON specifically, which is it's gonna grab the dynamic data from the payload. All right, so that's all set up, and this is the create booking node. And then finally, there's a fourth node, which is respond to webhook, which is the final node in the n8n workflow. And that, again, this should just be all set up if you import the template, and this will be respond with JSON, and then it's just a response body with this JSON here. All right, so that should be about it. And then you want to click save on your n8n demo, and that should actually be it for the demo in terms of how to set it up. Let's go in. Oh, you also need to attach your phone number, your Twilio phone number, to the agent. So you do that in this section here. So with my agent, this is the agent that we just built with my agent, and you do that in the. So we just made this. Yeah, this demo here. You can only have one phone number per agent. So I'm going to try and see if this works. So we just built this agent, and we're assigning, so in the phone number section, we're assigning this phone number to the agent that we just built. It's an inbound agent. So just leave that as is, but that is where you assign the phone number to the agent in the phone number section. All right, that is it, guys. I hope you got some value out of this video. If you like my content and you are enjoying the content I'm delivering on this channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Mike Armstrong-AI. I've got 44 subscribers. I'm trying to get up to 100. My goal is 100 by the end of next week. So if you could really help me out by clicking subscribe, comment on the video as well. If you have any questions regarding the agent, please ask them in the comment section. I will answer all comments in the section. Also, if you have an agency or you have a company or you're a tech lead and you want to build agents, voice agents for your business or for your agency or for your customers, go from my YouTube, you can access my website, dynaflow.ai, and you can access my website here. Just click on book a meeting. That will take you down to the book a meeting section. Click schedule your meeting. That will take you into the twilio.com section. Simply select a date that works for you. Pretty busy for the rest of the week, so maybe next week, and then just pick a time, put in your email and a reason for why you want to speak with me. Book soon, because my calendar is actually getting really busy and I've only got limited spots available now, so book soon. But that's how you can book a meeting and connect with me. Hope you enjoyed the content today. I'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you very much. Peace out. Bye for now.